Bom dia! Welcome back! Wow, look at my neighborhood beach today. But Old Baja Beach, it is absolutely packed. But it's Sunday, it's a beautiful, gorgeous day. So of course, why not? Everybody should be at the beach today. Two of Salvador's mounted police patrolling the area. Would you look at Puerto de Baja Beach? I don't know if I've ever seen it this crowded. I mean, it's wall-to-wall umbrellas, and even in the water, it's full. I bet there's a lot of pee in that water. This is a nice beach during the week, but on the weekend, it's a bit too much. So I ran into a friend down there by Puerto de Baja Beach, and we walked up the hill here to the Grasa neighborhood, where he lives, and I just said goodbye to him, and now I'm walking back down the hill. In today's episode, I want to talk about 4 issues, 4 problems, I might call them, that make first-time visitors not like Salvador. And I completely understand, because these 4 issues or problems bothered me too on my first visit to Salvador way back in 1999, and subsequent to that, when I moved here for a while. They don't bother me anymore because I understand them, I know how to avoid them, but I want to share them with you so that to help you not have a first bad impression of Salvador. Now, these 4 things I'm going to mention are not dangerous. They're just annoying and can leave you with a bad taste in your mouth. I know people who have come to Salvador and have said, oh, I'm never going back to Salvador because they were irritated, annoyed by these 4 issues, and even frightened, because if you don't understand what's happening, it can seem frightening, because sometimes the people who participate in it, these things, engage in these activities, can be a bit aggressive. And Bahians can come off as aggressive just in normal life. They're not trying to deliberately be aggressive, but Bahianos are very direct. They can be a little bit loud. They're not kind of tiptoe around polite like, say, Europeans or North Americans. So I just want to share these 4 things to help you to understand if you ever come to Salvador, and so that you're not left with a bad impression. Because as you know, I love Salvador, I love the Baiano people, and I want you to have a good time when you come. Now, the first annoyance or thing that some tourists find threatening are these fitas, commonly known as fitas de bonfim, these ribbons. And I've got some tied up here in my garden. This is a problem that largely happens in the historic Pelourinho district. Now, fitas, being offered a fita is not always a con job. Fitas are emblematic of Salvador. The custom is you tie them around your wrist, or someone ties it around your wrist, ties a knot 3 times, and you make a wish, and then about 6 or 7 months later, when it falls off, your wish comes true. That's the idea. However, unsuspecting tourists who come to Salvador for the first time will encounter generally street people who will walk up to them with a smile and tie a fita around their wrist, and all the while saying, it's free, it's free. And, some tourists fall for it. And then after they've tied it on your wrist, then they demand money, 20, 30 reais. And they're very insistent, and sometimes they'll follow you, and, they generally will not harm you physically. They'll make you feel very uncomfortable. It's unpleasant. It's an unpleasant introduction sometimes to Salvador. I've learned to just ignore them, just say once, obrigado now, no thank you, and walk on, and then don't look, don't in any way engage, There are times and places here in Salvador where we get a free fita. All of these that I've got hanging in my garden here I got for free. So you can get your fita, but generally not from street people who are approaching you in the Pelourinho. Now the second annoyance, and I want to be careful how I say this, because there are many, probably the majority of Bahianas, women dressed in traditional Bahiana dress, who are not out to scam or make anybody feel bad, but there are some Bahianas, particularly in the Pelourinho. This happens in the Pelourinho, the historic Pelourinho, where you're a new arrival, a tourist, and you're taking photos of the historic buildings and all of the beauty, and you see a Bahiano, and you start to take a photo or a video, and she'll put her arms up, she'll put her hands in front of her face, or the front of her skirt in front of her face, and sometimes express hostility. And this is because she expects to be paid. The best thing to do if you want a photo is to go up and ask her how much for a photo of her or of you with her. It's the way that she makes a living. I personally think that the city of Salvador should pay these Bahianas a living wage to be there in the Pelourinho, to be part of the historic charm, but they don't. So just be aware, and then you won't have any hurt feelings or negative memories of Salvador. The third annoyance that I want to mention are, again, I want to be careful to not include all capoeiristas. Capoeira is a wonderful manifestation, expression here in Bahia, but there is one group of capoeiristas right there in the Pelourinho who, just like some of the Bahianas in the Pelourinho, will get a little bit hostile or in your face if you start taking photos or filming them. They're always out there during the day performing capoeira, and they expect you to pay them for their capoeira performance. Talk to them first again. Find out how much to take a photo or to film. They're approachable, but don't just take a photo or film without asking first, or again, you'll walk away with hurt feelings or feeling a little bit threatened by their brusque manner. But don't be put off by capoeira either in Salvador. Definitely enjoy capoeira. Just be aware of that in the Pelourinho. The fourth and final thing I want to warn you about are, again, it's sometimes street people, primarily, again, in the Pelourinho, who will walk up to you and offer to paint with white paint, I believe it's latex paint, symbols on your arms and legs, and they're very nice. I believe that there's a Carnival Blanco where this custom started. Was it Timbala? I don't remember the name of it, but anyway, it's popular now, and it looks very nice. I've had it painted on my arms. They're a kind of design. You might think of it as an African design. But again, they may say that it's free, but once that paint is on your arms and legs, it's definitely not free. And again, do not be the innocent, unsuspecting tourist who gets the paint put on them and thinks it's free, and then you're surprised, hurt, angry, or feeling threatened when there's a demand for money. I'm just telling you about these 4 annoyances so that when you come to Salvador for the first or second time, you're aware of it, you're not caught off guard, and that your visit is not spoiled. Because as I said at the beginning, I have met people who have a very negative impression of Salvador because they've had a few of these unwelcome encounters and they felt threatened, or they felt an underlying hostility or menace. And you could easily avoid that by just politely saying no thanks and not falling victim to it. For me, I've been living here in Salvador, Bahia for, 22 years now. I think Bahianos are some of the nicest, friendliest, warmest people in the world. So I want you to have that experience too, and come back feeling all warm and fuzzy about Salvador and Bahia. And that's why I'm talking about this. I'm going to keep this episode short. The idea for today's episode just came to me. I was walking yesterday. Thanks for joining me, and as always, beijo, ciao.